Yeah, guys, welcome to All Soccer All Day. I'm Eric D in Los Angeles, and that's Stevie Mack in Chi-Town. What's up?
What up, what up? Yeah, having a good time out here. It's starting to get cold out here in Chicago. It's like been pretty consistently 30 degrees. Had a little snow. What's that?
Long John?
No.
What?
You know.
Come on.
Nah. I'm used to the cold at this point in time. Not to say that I like it. No, listen. Not to say I like it, but I can deal at least with Chicago cold, you know. I can't do any of that like Viking cold or anything like that.
Okay, bye.
You know.
Viking cold, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I can't do all that. But anyway, yeah, so we're, the guys are still playing pickup out here and everything, even in this 25, 30 degree weather. And got plenty of guys showing up.
Yeah, you playing outside right now?
Oh yeah, it's outdoor. Yep.
So the dome, the tent's not up yet.
Dome opens the 26th, so next Monday.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you ready?
Dude, I'm already signed up. For all 3 pickups, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, first week.
Nice.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited. Dude, I played last Wednesday, and I hadn't played in like 10 days, and it was just like, my first like 5 touches were just terrible,
Yeah.
Taking that time off, even if it's like really short, just really it can mess you up.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
At least for us peons of football, we're not professionals. Yeah, exactly.
And as we're getting older, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, though, let's move forward. Let's a couple things. We want to give a shout out to all the listeners. Thank you very much for tuning in from all over the world. We got people out in Japan and Indonesia now tuning in, Spain, of course, Ireland. A lot of cool things going on as far as our listeners around the world. So right on, we appreciate you. If you want to do anything to support the show, there's really like 2 ways of doing it. Number 1, leave us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to us on, whether or not that be iTunes or Spotify or Google Play, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating. It really helps us out. The second way, of course, that you can support us is going to our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/allsoccerallday. And obviously, we really, really love our Patreon supporters, and we greatly appreciate you. Last but not least, just want to turn your attention to our sponsor, Vaporgate. Vaporgate is premium vaping things that you need in order to vape.
E-liquid.
Yeah, the e-liquid. Yeah. So all these things are pretty cool. You can check it out online, vaporgate.com. And, again, we really appreciate them. So we are going to start off by reviewing Matchday 12 in the Premier League. And then we're going to look forward to the next fixtures, Matchday 13. That'll be coming up this weekend. Let's go ahead and let's start off with the Saturday games, any of the games that were relative. Spurs, Crystal Palace. Spurs come out with the win there, 1-0. That's, kind of keeping an eye on the top teams in the league just to see how they're doing, but they come away with 3 points. You have anything that you're thinking on how the Spurs are doing right now, Eric D?
They get the 3 points, which is obviously good. So nothing to be ashamed of there. I just still don't think Tottenham's looking very convincing. They don't look like one of the top leagues, one of the necessarily top sides in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously one of the better sides. Let's not kick ourselves here, but they're not at the level where they're competing for the title. Let's put it that way.
Right. They're in 4th place right now, 27 points. They're right behind Chelsea, 28 points for
Yeah,
Chelsea. You know, so I mean, they're definitely up. They're kind of quietly just hanging around that top
yeah,
five spot,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So that's not necessarily a bad thing at all if you're Tottenham, especially at this point in time. You still got a little time in the season left, and you know, if you can kind of cruise through these 3 point matches that you should be winning, like Crystal Palace, then that's good, you know. And we'll see if they hit their stride, so to speak, anytime soon. And if they start blowing up, then maybe they do kind of push up a little bit further. But from what it sounds like, you don't think that it's going to go there, right?
I just I have a hard time seeing it right now because their play's been kind of lackluster. I mean,
Right.
what's really proof of the pudding is if when they start playing against the rivals that are ahead of them and what kind of points can they take off of them.
Yep.
Especially like the North London derby games between them and Arsenal. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. That'll be crucial to
Yeah,
determine whether.
that's absolutely going to be a crucial game. And both of those teams, in my opinion, are kind of like right around the same spot, you know, in terms of how they're playing, where they're at in the standings. Arsenal, they draw Wolves at home, 1-1. And, you know, recently they've been rolling, you know, they've been playing pretty well, but the last two games they've had a little bit of struggle in both of them, obviously going up against Liverpool, and that's a exciting game in and of itself, so a draw coming away from that, no big deal. But when you look at drawing with Wolves at home, that's, I don't know, what do you think on that?
It's no bueno. You know, you're Arsenal and you've got aspirations of, contending for a title because you're that size of a club and you draw the Wolves at home. I mean, it's not good enough.
Right.
I mean, obviously at the end of the day, you'll take the point, but I'm sure, the Wolves fans are obviously happy about taking a point from Arsenal at the Emirates. But I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're like, no, man, we can't be drawing against the Wolves at home. Not when you got Man City just playing
just
like
smoking everyone.
Yeah,
dude. Like Man City right now, it's. I mean, it almost looked like they're already separating. You know,
Yeah.
It looks already like you might as well just crown them at this point. It doesn't look like they're going to slow down at all. You know, in the Manchester derby, we have Man City, Man United, and Man City just crushes United 3-1. I mean, what are your thoughts on Man City? What are your thoughts on Manchester United, dude?
That's right there. I mean, just to go back to Arsenal real quick, and Tottenham in general, there's no room for error for Chelsea or anybody that's trying to contend, Liverpool included, trying to contend with Manchester City for the title. I mean, Manchester City if they didn't show, if no one knew what their title aspirations were before this match, I mean, they just showed that, in a derby match, they put Man U to the sword and they're dominating. They're
Absolutely
beating them to the ground. And I mean, is it really surprising that the Manchester United lost to Man City? It doesn't surprise me.
No. And we had spoken about this on our last show that, the truth will be revealed. And I definitely feel it was. Manchester United has been skating through the last month or so, and they've been coming back and they've been getting these results, and it's almost like miracle kind of stuff. But as you said, like, even though they're doing all that, like, just in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't believe this is real. Like,
no, I still don't.
And then they show up against City and 3-1. And honestly, with the getting a penalty kick as a goal, okay, great, yay, whoop-de-doo. It's not like you created something, I don't know. It's just different, man. City was just playing like just domination, and United, they just looked flat,
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that United is the club of stature that they should be Man City. They should be playing like that. They shouldn't be playing second fiddle to anybody. But that's the thing. they're playing second fiddle to a lot of things in the league, and they're especially playing second fiddle to the best team in Manchester in their own town.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard times for Manchester United fans because they were used to so long dominating their rivals, their neighbors there in the city, and Man City, I think, is clearly taken Manchester over.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a little side note, just so you know, when this game was on too, I remember texting you, and Pogba obviously wasn't playing in this game, and for me, when Pogba's not on the pitch for United, the creativity just isn't the same, and I don't know. There's a big gap whenever Pogba's off the pitch, in my opinion. That's why he's so valuable. But even that, if Pogba was on the pitch, I just don't feel like the result would have been any different at all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's that. I mean, he's a difference maker, but I don't think, he doesn't change the complexity of that match so that Manchester United has a chance.
Exactly. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, again, just to kind of cap that, it just came into fruition how we thought it would, right? City definitely dominates. They're looking like the club that is going to take the entire league, and United just kind of floundering down at 8th on the tables.
Yeah, you said fruition.
Yeah, I did.
That's great.
So, okay, moving on to the next game. We're kind of mentioning the top 5-6 teams in the league right now, and Chelsea drawing with Everton at home at Stamford Bridge, 0-0. This is another game that if you're Chelsea and you want to be competing, you got to put these guys away at home. You have to.
Yeah, no, we had said that. We had said that before, that these were the kind of games that these top teams needed to just smash on these other teams. And they, like some of them took care of business, maybe not so much convincingly, and then other teams just straight fell on their face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. And this is definitely a sign of, again, just the quality of Manchester City comparatively to these other teams right now. Like City right now will just smash on anybody, right? Yeah. So, if you're going to be in the run for the title at all, you also must smash on all these teams that you should be beating.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. It's not too far out of reach right now, right? Right now, it just feels like City's going to start running away with it, but it's not over yet, right? So, still some drama yet. We'll see what happens. But, I mean, I think we can both agree that right now it just seems like the head of steam that City has going on is, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to get close to that, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. It looks kind of scary at the moment. I'm going to give it to Christmas, New Year's time. We'll see how we're looking at around January or so. But I still feel that Man City they're stomping, they're cruising, just rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, last game that we're going to talk about in Matchday 12 before we look ahead, Liverpool hosting Fulham. Liverpool gets the result, 2-0. Salah has a goal on an interesting turn of events where, I mean, this is where they're always saying you got to move to the next play, right? So Fulham comes in, the ball is centered. Mitrovic gets on the end. He thinks he scores. He did not score because he was off. And Liverpool takes a quick restart. They send Salah up the wing. I mean, he just cruises past everyone and puts it away. So, I mean, that's got to be rough for Fulham, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
The second goal, however, I mean, Robertson, perfect cross. And how about the finish by Shaqiri?
Yeah, great technique. I had told you, though, I mean, not to be too much of a doom and gloomer, but, I just feel that like with the other clubs, I feel Liverpool needed to assert themselves more, and they needed to get a few more goals. You're at Anfield. You're playing a side like Fulham, which I think is probably going to get relegated.
Mm-hmm.
You score more than 2 goals. You need to get that goal differential up. You need to get those goals scored because you need to be hitting Man City stride for stride.
Well,
And,
okay, so here's what we have to think, though, okay? So first of all, they're not going to be hitting Man City stride for stride just because of the simple fact that currently City has a plus 31 goal differential. Plus 31. They've scored 36 goals and only been scored on 5 times.
gosh.
36 goals? I mean, come on, man. You know, the second team.
I mean, they've only been scored on 5 times.
I know. Well, hey, look at this. Liverpool's only been scored on 5 times, also, though.
Yeah, no. Liverpool's defensively is Liverpool defensively is right where they want to be with Man City. It's just the offense,
Right?
and that's scary. Is that Man City's? That's the thing. If you're winning your games and Man City's winning their games, and it really comes down to those 2 games between the 2 sides, and the first one was a draw. Could have easily gone Man City's way.
Absolutely.
I'll be looking at the second match, but it's like, Liverpool's offense has got to start clicking, and that's the concern there.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, and that's interesting that you still have to say that after they have a 2-0 victory. But at this point in time, goal differential's just not anything, in my opinion, that you can even think about coming through on. So you have to beat them out by point. And so, you're 2 points behind now. City has 32, Liverpool with 30 currently. And I mean, you got to start putting these teams away with dominance. And, these teams, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, these guys that are just chasing the coattails of City right now. I mean, if they want to make an impact, we say it over and over again, but they got to beat the teams that are at the middle and the bottom of the table.
Yes, exactly.
So let's see. Let's go ahead and let's look forward then. Match day 13 is coming up this weekend. Saturday is going to be the return of club football after the international break.
Thank God.
So, let's look at some of these teams that are going on right now. If you were going to follow the drama that is Manchester United, they're hosting Crystal Palace. I mean, again, another game that... I mean, you got to see what's going to happen, because if United lays an egg on this one for some reason...
I'm going to take Man U to win. Yeah.
Well,
that means... No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking United to win this too. I mean, they better win this. So,
right.
Let's see. We got Brighton hosting Leicester, Everton hosting Cardiff, Fulham. Yeah, I know. Fulham hosting Southampton. That's kind of why we're moving along quickly through these. As far as Liverpool goes, Liverpool is going to be going to Vicarage Road, and they'll be visiting against Watford. Watford hosting. So this, I think this is obviously this is a telling game for Liverpool too, if they're going to be staying in the race, because at the same exact time as they're playing, City is visiting West Ham. And I don't it's just like, what do you do if you're on West Ham right now? Like, you're professional, so you're gonna play this game and you're gonna do your very best to win. But like, in the back of your mind, you gotta be like, these dudes have scored 36 goals. Like,
yeah. If you're West Ham's goalie, you're ready to get megged.
Oh man, it's just, I don't know. So, anyways, as we were saying, Liverpool, they really need this 3 points, because it seems like almost a lock that City's going to get, I shouldn't even say almost. It's a lock, okay? City's going to win this.
Stone cold lock. Here.
And, one of the bigger games, this is probably the highlight game of the weekend. Spurs hosting Chelsea at Wembley Stadium. And again, this is going to be a exciting game, and it's going to really, again, show this top five who's really going to be chasing and who's going to kind of end up just right on that cusp of the top five, right?
I agree. North London, West London.
Yeah. So, I mean, who you got in this one? Spurs, Chelsea.
Spurs is hosting at Wembley.
Yep. And remember, Spurs coming off a victory, 1-0. Chelsea coming off a draw, 0-0 at home.
I'm gonna take Chelsea 2-1.
2-1 Chelsea. Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2 draw.
Okay. Yeah.
Coming out 2-2 draw. I got City in this game, just so you know, against West Ham. I got City, and I'm gonna go 5-0.
Oh my gosh.
What do you got?
I'm gonna be modest and say 4.
Oh man, I actually outbid you on goals this time. Usually you're the one that's just like, nah, fool, it's gonna be like 12-0, fool.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that. Yeah, 8-0.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is if it was 8-0, I wouldn't be surprised, you know?
Oh, I know.
So, let's see. Arsenal is going to be visiting Vitality Stadium in Bournemouth. Again, Arsenal, I mean, you just think that they're going to be winning these games relatively easily based on the talent they have on the team. But right now, Arsenal is in 5th, and Bournemouth is right behind them in 6th.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Arsenal does have a 4-point lead over Bournemouth, and Bournemouth is tied between Bournemouth, Watford, and Manchester United. They just have the better goal differential. So it's not like Bournemouth is in striking distance to take 5th place and hold it right now. But it definitely would do some damage if for some reason Arsenal can't come through on this, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's not good for Arsenal. But with that being said, I'm going to take Arsenal to win 2-0.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Arsenal as well. And, man, I got to agree with you on that one. I'm going to go 2-0 as well. So, ditto. We got 2 more games that are going to be going on. Wolves hosting Huddersfield and also Burnley hosting Newcastle. So, I mean, yeah, I know. You don't need to comment on some of those last few games.
Okay. Thank you.
That Huddersfield game, dude. That Huddersfield game.
Woo. Fire, right?
And just so you know, man, this is kind of sad, but Fulham in their last 5 games they've lost all 5 of them.
Thanks for bringing that up, man. That's great.
So I don't know what you're gonna do about your beloved stadium, but
I don't know, man. Dude, this is not cool, man.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pour one out for the homies.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get all the memories in. We're gonna have to.
Yeah. So, just as a quick review, just so we're clear on this, City, of course, at the top of the tables right now with 32 points.
Don't say.
Yeah, I know. Liverpool in close second, actually, with 30 points. Chelsea, 28 points in third. Tottenham Hotspur, 27 points, just behind Chelsea in fourth. Arsenal, 24 points behind Tottenham Hotspur in 5th place. So top 5 right now, I mean, is there any surprises these teams? No, not really. Is it a surprise that United isn't in this top 5 or at least contending? I mean, kind of not really, right?
No, I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, my thoughts on Man U have been spoken ad nauseam.
Yeah, well documented.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to go on about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are the tables as they stand right now. It just appears that City's going to have another 3 easy points, and so you almost want to already count it, and they're at 35. So everyone else needs to really step up. Otherwise, if they start getting a 5-8 point lead right now, I mean, how are you going to make those up, right?
It'll be over.
So, all right. So moving forward, let's go ahead and let's move to the MLS. We're going to review the second leg of the quarterfinal round. And we're going to be looking at the first, this is the second leg, but the first game that happened in the second leg was Seattle hosting Portland. And you know what? I got to tell you, this was one of the more exciting games that you're going to see in the playoffs. Cascadia rivalry, you know, basically the two. I mean, if you're going to hate a team more, I don't know. Maybe I don't really know what rivalry is close to that, especially in Cascadia. There's nothing close to that, right? I mean, what's your opinion about this rivalry and its impact? And what's your opinion about Portland coming in and, like, just gritting out the victory all the way to penalty kicks? You know, Portland puts away Seattle at home. What do you think?
Well, first of all, the Cascadia region has been great for MLS. The Seattle-Portland rivalry is the best rivalry in the MLS. I mean, it dates back to, you know, way before these teams were ever in the MLS, back to the 70s, I believe. And Portland and Seattle despise each other. They're actually, I think the rivalry between each other is greater than it is with Vancouver. Like, Vancouver's in the Cascadia region, and the rivalry between those three clubs. But I really think Vancouver's just kind of like, they're like the third brother or something, or cousin, and no one, like, people pay attention to them to a certain degree, but people don't really care. It's really between Portland and Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, the animosity between, like, Vancouver and Seattle or Vancouver and Portland is just not the same as when it is with Seattle and Portland. So for Portland to basically get another one up on the rival in Seattle, to go into CenturyLink and to win that game the way they did against their better rival, you couldn't ask for anything better. An early Christmas present, I would say, in some aspects for the Portland fan. And if you're a Seattle fan, it's your absolute worst nightmare. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I know. It really is, like, nothing can get really any worse than Portland beating you at home.
Yeah, the manager for Seattle, Brian Speltzer, I'm mispronouncing his last name. I can't think. The head coach for Seattle, he had made comment after the game, like, this was the most painful loss he's ever had in his coaching career, and a lot of that was echoed in the locker room. You know, I mean, obviously you get knocked out of the playoffs. You had a great season. I mean, Seattle turned it around. They did what they do. Like,
I know, what a run, right?
Stumble out of the gate. They have this great run. They get all the way to second place in the West, and then, you know, you lose to your bitter rival. It's tough to swallow, but I mean, take nothing away from Portland. I mean, the game was kind of, you know, like, a lot of people kind of tuned out. I mean, the first half was nothing to write home about, but the second half just took off in there. A soccer game broke out after all the non-soccer that was played in the first half, I guess. And it went back and forth there. It had everything: controversy, goals, penalty kicks. I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for.
Yeah, it was a really exciting game. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna ask you, what do you think? What was your opinion of it?
Oh man, it was so exciting. I watched this, and the entire time, you're totally right. The first half, I mean, I was just like waiting for something to happen, right? And it never did. And it was like, man, I mean, but you also knew that someone had to push, right? It had to break open at some point. And finally it did. And when it did, as you said, I mean, it was some of the most exciting football that you're going to see. I mean, it
Yeah.
was back and forth. Hey, look, shout out to Espria. I mean, man of the match for me. What amazing touches. He finished the entire game off with his last penalty kick. He did it with confidence, just all power. He had a beautiful assist and laying the ball off. What a header to bring him back level.
Yeah.
Confident, powerful, perfect technique. So, I mean, yeah, it was an intense game starting in the second half, and it's a lot of fun. It's definitely going to put more heat on that rivalry. And, all these other, by the way, these are the rivalries that we want to strive to have in the MLS, right? So, look, Los Angeles, El Trafico, I mean, that's like hopefully going to be as competitive, as fiery, it's just, you want that for the entire league.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt about it, and that will be the case as long as the Galaxy can get their house in order. Because I mean, LAFC is here to stay, and they came out of the blocks, guns a blazing, and now it's time, to see if the Galaxy will be able to answer that.
Yep. So
I want to see across the league.
Yes. The next game that we had, November 11th, this was a Sunday. Sporting Kansas City hosting Real Salt Lake at Children's Mercy Park. And hey, look, this is Sporting Kansas City. This is how they, when they're on, they're so dangerous. And they come away with a 4-2 victory. They advance 5-3 on aggregate. Look, I know you're going to say this, but kudos to Real Salt Lake, right?
Yeah, no doubt. They had a great run.
Nothing to be ashamed of,
Nothing to be ashamed of. Krylak was...
Dude.
Superhuman.
Some beautiful finishes. I mean, the guy just made play after play for Real Salt Lake, not only keeping them in it, but also helping them advance and get to this position. Even making an impact in this game. But overall, Sporting Kansas City was just overwhelming, and Real Salt Lake just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Even though there was times in that game towards the end in the second half, Sporting looked like they were trying to give it to Real Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to give it up, like, oh yeah, you guys want to take this match because we don't seem to want to play any defense. And, if it's... I mean, one bounce here, one bounce there, it could have been drastically different. Also, they could have stolen it and advanced. I mean, they had some chances.
Yeah, definitely. They just weren't able to finish them. But Sporting, they moved forward. Oh, yeah, by the way, they finished off with that little no-look goal. That dude's trying to style on them for sure.
Yeah,
so,
there's no doubt about it. And, I mean...
Hey man, but I'm cool with that, man. Do your swag,
No, what? There's a low key. There's a little bit of a rivalry between the two clubs.
Yeah, it's starting to develop for sure.
So that's kind of what that is right there, and yeah, I mean, Sporting Kansas City's moving on, and yeah, we're also like they had a good run.
Yeah. So next game, and this is where you get a little scared of Atlanta, right? We all knew that Atlanta right now at this point in time, they're dangerous, right? At any point in time, they can put some goals down on you. You visit and you go to Mercedes-Benz and Miguel Almiron shows up and New York City FC they don't have a chance. It's 3-1. Atlanta looked dominant. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, and what are your thoughts on how Atlanta's going to be looking moving forward? Yeah.
Well, there's not many. Let's start off by saying there's not many clubs in the MLS that can hang with Atlanta United, period, especially when they're at home and they're firing like that. I mean, Miguel Almiron and Martinez.
Dude, Martinez' last goal. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. Those kind of things, the skill, the pace,
Oh,
the
dude,
defense.
let's not forget Almiron's free kick too,
Yeah,
dude.
that's what I'm saying. Like these guys are world class. They're on the rise, and it's just like you just go into a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. And yeah, Atlanta's clicking again. They're looking scary. And I mean, NYFC. I mean, they had a nice little season, but they're missing something there,
Oh
and
yeah.
they, I mean, laid to bear. And I mean, what? It's like, hey, NYCFC, you're a nice team, but dude, Atlanta is Atlanta United, and they deservedly won. I mean, there's really nothing more to say there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Atlanta moves forward, definitely looking really tough. And another team that's looking tough over back in the East, the other leg, second leg, the other match was the New York Red Bulls hosting Columbus Crew. And man, the New York Red Bulls at this point in time, you and I were talking about this earlier. I think they may actually be the favorite here. Even though Atlanta is dominant, like you said, I mean they're looking so good. Kansas
Yeah,
Sporting KC, I mean, great team. Portland, they've been on a run. Can they keep it going? But right now, the New York Red Bulls playing the way they do, I don't know, man. They're looking hot. What do you think?
well, they handled business uh, at home against Columbus. We had talked about this. They needed to shut them out. They did that. They got the goals they needed. I mean, I was nervous for the Red Bulls after coming out of that first leg against Columbus, and they showed what they're made of. They showed their quality. They handled business. Columbus wasn't really in the game, and it sets up this great showdown. In a way, New York Red Bulls and Atlanta United is kind of like an MLS Cup in itself. Like
It's
this
true.
This is going to be a great series, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see it. And I'm I'm going to go with New York Red Bulls to pull it out over the aggregate because I think they're the most complete team. I'd like to see them win MLS Cup. I told you this before. I feel like they're deserving. Never won it before. They've won the Supporters Shield 3 out of the last 6 seasons, I believe.
And they're
Is
setting records.
setting records, most points ever for a team in MLS. So I feel like they're kind of a team of destiny, and I can't wait to see it because it's gonna be good because Atlanta and the Red Bulls, they're they're the two best teams in the league. The records show that, and it's gonna be fireworks for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I also agree with you that this this series that's going to happen between Atlanta and New York, it is kind of like the like the final in a way. Not to say that Sporting Kansas City and Portland can't compete, but as you said, these are the two best teams in the league by all accounts, and now we get two games, and that's really exciting. So I mean, all eyes should be on this, these two games. And so, just talking about it now, we can kind of just skip a little bit forward to the next fixtures coming up. Leg one is November 25th. That's a Sunday. Atlanta United will be hosting New York Red Bulls. And I mean, what do you think? Who do you think is going to come out on top of this game? I know you already said you think the Red Bulls are going to win in aggregate, but they're visiting Mercedes-Benz. I mean, how do you think this one's going to end up?
It's gonna be tough for the Red Bulls. Going down into Atlanta, it's tough for anybody. I must say first before we keep going on here, one of these teams, Red Bulls or Atlanta United, will host MLS Cup final.
Right.
So regardless of whatever happens in the West, that team will have to either go to New York or Atlanta. With that said, I could see Atlanta winning this first leg, but I feel like New York Red Bulls are going to steal a goal or two, depending on how it goes, to take back to them to New York. I could see it being 2-1 or maybe even 3-2 to Atlanta. But I think those those road goals, those away goals might be the
Come
difference that
through in the end.
in the second leg. Yeah.
I mean, it's so hard to say because, I really hope that this series is open and these players are just, they're just balling and they're just trying to show out what they are made of and what they can do because both these teams have so much talent on the ball. I mean, it's going to be so exciting to see Atlanta at home in this game, hosting the Red Bulls. I mean, are they going to come out and dominate and put 3 on the board, like you were saying? Can the defense hold up against the New York Red Bulls, or do the New York Red Bulls steal them, like you said? I don't know. Personally, I don't think they can get 2. I think they're going to get 1, and I'm going to say it's going to be 2-1 Atlanta. But
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, it could totally go the other way. Honestly, I mean the Red Bulls are no joke.
No, there's no doubt about it. Atlanta has to be weary of that fact because there's such a buzz saw when people come in and they can really jump on teams, but they got to be careful because this match, I mean, whatever the Red Bulls can steal off of them, that's going to be a huge advantage for them.
Absolutely.
Going into that second leg.
So let's, we will hold off our second predictions for the second one until this first game happens and we see what the aggregate score is starting into that second game. But right now, I'm going to say it's going to be 2-1 Atlanta. What's your final call on that one?
I'll go 3-2.
Okay, you're going to go 3-2. All right. Man, I hope it's 3-2. I mean, that would be awesome,
That's what we want.
We want that wide open game. But going on to the next matchup in the West, Portland is hosting Sporting Kansas City for the first leg of this. Providence Park, Sporting Kansas City goes in. I mean, this is actually a pretty interesting game as far as how do you call that, right? Portland's pretty strong at home.
Yeah, this is a tighter series than you might think. I favor Sporting to get it done, but I mean, Portland's tough at home. I mean, Providence is no joke. They got great supporters. I really hope Sporting has figured out their defense because it's kind of getting in shambles there against RSL at the end, and that's not going to be any good because Portland will take advantage of that. Portland's coming off the high of being their rivals to get this far.
Right.
I don't know. It's tough.
It's a tough call.
It really is. I mean, what say you? What do you
I'm actually going to go the same scoreline as the other one. I'm going to go 2-1 Portland with the win, but Kansas City stealing one, and then I'm going to save it for the second one. When we're talking about the second leg, but
I don't know. I feel like it could have a draw on it. I'm going to say maybe it's 1-1. I'll go 1-1 draw.
Yeah. Not a bad scoreline for sure. I mean, I think that's definitely in the cards there. So moving forward, just to, keep this in front of us, just keep in mind, Atlanta United, New York Red Bulls, as you said before, whoever wins that's going to host. Man, can you imagine visiting Atlanta United, visiting Georgia, visiting Mercedes-Benz, and having to play Atlanta?
For the MLS Cup final? Yeah, that'd be nuts. I mean, if you thought they sell out that place before, that place is like standing room only.
Yeah. Well, I think it is going to be in this series, man.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
So, pretty exciting. Okay, let's go ahead and the last thing we were going to touch on, you and I both mentioned that we were just going to briefly mention it. The U.S. men's national team had 2 friendlies over the course of the last week. First of all, they played against England. They lost pretty badly, 3-0. And then just yesterday, I suppose, since we're going to post this on Wednesday here. Just yesterday, Italy coming up with a last-second victory over the very, very young U.S. team that was put out by Saracen. I mean, both these games, the European teams dominated, but as we were also mentioning before, this is rebuild time. This is scout the talent of the young kids coming up through American soccer and seeing, which way you want to move forward. And I think that Saracen has actually done a really, really great job of setting up whoever the next coach is to be able to have a good pool and a good idea of what he has to work with, right?
Yeah, no, I have to agree. I mean, it's on one hand, you're a little disappointed. I told you earlier I was a little underwhelmed. The kids are young and they're getting the minutes they need, so you have to preach patience. We have to realize that we're in a way the system, the program's hitting a reset. We're going through a new cycle. New players are coming in, kind of out with the old, in with the new. A new manager is supposed to be appointed to the U.S. national team here by the end of the year. A lot of rumors pointing to Greg Berhalter of the Columbus Crew.
Yep.
Is he the right hire for the program? I don't know. He's American. He'll understand how MLS works. He doesn't really have so much of a pedigree to bring to the table. But yeah, we'll critique that once the hire does come down. There wasn't really, to me, in my opinion, there wasn't really anything of note in these last two matches. It was nice that Christian Pulisic came back. He's in the fold. But
I do want to say, if you're going to bring up, number 10 there, did you see his run that he pulled on England?
Yes, I did.
I mean, beautiful skill.
Yeah, and that unfortunately was somewhat like the highlight for the U.S. in that match, and it's just
Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like it was so incredible that you had to call home about it or anything like that. But what I am saying is that it was nice to see him back on the pitch and nice to see him doing what he can do.
Yeah, no, it is good. I just can't help but feel that, like, the ripple effects, some of the aftershocks of still missing the World Cup and everything that's happened this past year plus is just, I don't know. Right now, I think if you're a U.S. soccer supporter, you're like, I don't know. I wouldn't say as much as you're apathetic, is that you just like, you want to see change and you want to see progress. You want to see something better, but it's like, is it going to come? When's it going to come? I mean, we got the kids and yeah, great. But it's just like, I feel like maybe some people just kind of feel a little hopeless right now. Like, we've taken so many steps back. We've hit rock bottom.
I definitely hear what you're saying. I mean, in one way, I have to say that, how do you think this is going to go? Do you think that when the new manager comes in, whoever it is, either way, it doesn't matter who the manager is, but my question to you is, do you believe that there's going to be a large amount of turnover as far as this new coach letting the more senior players kind of go and bringing up these kids? Because, I think of it like this. You got 4 years till the next World Cup, right? And you're going to be qualifying throughout these next, for a while. But, if you're going to take these players 4 years from now and you're hoping to make it into the World Cup, these players all need experience over the next 4 years. Because if they don't get it and they do qualify for the World Cup, they'll just get smashed, No,
I agree. They need the experience. The problem is that, and this is what the critics were saying with U.S. Soccer Federation taking so long to hire the new coach.
Exactly.
Is that, Dave Sarkin comes in, he does a great job as an interim. He's getting these new kids in, but you kind of feel like a year has been lost, because a new manager is going to come in, and whoever that is, they're going to have their own take on the situation. They're going to want to put their own stamp on it. And that manager is going to retain some of these players that have been playing this previous year. He's going to bring in some new guys that, people thought were done or haven't heard of.
Yep.
And then maybe he's going to let go of some guys that people thought that were going to be with the because every manager has his preferences, has his players, has his style,
Yeah, I mean, to your point, every manager looks for certain qualities in the players that they, in the system that they want to run. So,
I told you this before. The only person I know that is set in stone is Christian Pulisic. Everybody else is up for debate.
Yep. You are absolutely 100% correct. But again, yes, the U.S. Soccer Federation needs to be criticized for not hiring a coach sooner. Because, as you said, you just lost time, right? These other countries have their system and have these things in place. The top countries in the world are rolling already and have been rolling for a long time.
Yeah, so, they don't wait a year to a point.
You're not waiting a year at all. So, I mean, could you imagine if, like, Germany, right, they fire their coach and then it takes them a year to find someone new? What?
Never would happen. It would never happen. And that's where, I mean, not to get too far into it, but I think you lose credibility if the U.S. had anybody. That's where the source of this mockery and everything that it goes with U.S. soccer comes from. It's like we do things so differently or so strange or so like U.S., I guess. I don't know. It's just not something that would happen with other countries. They're not waiting that long to appoint the actual manager that's going to see them through the next cycle. I mean, it shouldn't have taken this long. But.
Well, I mean, I have to say, too, I have no idea what's going on behind the scenes or anything like that. So I don't know if there's, for some reason, some, like, legitimate reason for this, but I just can't see it. I mean, I can't give the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. Like, they needed to hire someone. The year loss it's a big deal if you're trying to rebuild.
Especially if the hire is underwhelming. Like, if they
right.
It's like, who, what?
Right.
Whoop-de-doo, If somebody like, I don't know who this person would be exactly, but okay, let's just say Zinedine Zidane. Like, if they hired him, then everyone would be like, wow, we waited a year for this? Okay, like, everyone would be like, whoa. I mean, that's not happening.
No,
right?
No, of course not.
It goes to the bank, but if it did, that would be definitely, like, jaw-dropping. But, yeah, Greg Berhalter, I don't have anything against him. He's been a good coach for Columbus. He seems to be well-respected, well-liked. He's not going to move the needle. He's not going to...
I mean, it's a big ask,
It's a big ask. I don't know if he takes us the next step. I would feel that maybe more comfortable with a guy more like Peter Vermees. He's put in his time. He's been at Sporting a long time. He's won trophies. He would seem like a better hire. But, I mean, that's up to Ernie Stewart and the U.S. Soccer Federation, basically. So
yeah, man, we're gonna see what ends up happening, and we'll talk about it then, as you were saying. But just one more thing on that, and then we need to move on. But when it comes to hiring a coach, if they hire someone that is underwhelming, as you said, and let's say they only last a year, maybe 2 years, and then all of a sudden you need a new coach, and then you have 2 years before the World Cup. I mean,
that's going to be a disaster.
So they need to make the right hire now. Is my point.
Yeah, they almost now, the way they've set it up, they have to hit on this hire. You taking a year to hire a manager, it's got to work out.
Yeah.
If this blows up on U.S. soccer, we're gonna be more of a joke. It's gonna be more of a dilemma, more problematic. It's like that's the thing. A lot of pressure's on Ernie Stewart and the U.S. Soccer Federation, because you've waited a year now, and whoever you're hiring, it's got to work out.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I mean, yeah, everyone should get fired.
Yeah, right. So, brief little side note before we wrap it up. We had the international break this last week, and the UEFA Nations League, of course, was going on along with a lot of other friendlies. And not everyone's following the UEFA Nations League, but I just wanted to just say who's getting relegated and who's getting promoted in League A and B, because these are some of the top teams in the world. And in League A, the 4 teams being relegated to League B are Germany, Iceland, Poland, and Croatia. And I mean, some of those teams, Germany and Croatia, have been mainstays of the top of, world football for a long time. Hey, look, Germany seems like they're going through a little slip here and there, whatever. But Croatia just came up as a runner-up in the World Cup and had a dominant performance all throughout. And now they're getting relegated in this league. I mean, it's kind of fun, a little parody there. In League B, the people that are, the teams that are being promoted, these are pretty fun too. So Ukraine is going up to League A, Sweden moving up to League A, Denmark moving up to League A, and my favorite one, who I will be rooting for sure, Bosnia and Herzegovina, also moving up to League A. They're going to be my number 1 team in League A, just so you know.
Did I tell you my story about, like, I used to play with some Bosnians? Did I ever tell you about this?
No.
Yeah, years ago, I played with some Bosnians on a team in it's indoor soccer, but it's like played outside, but inside of like, I don't know what you call it, like a rink. There's walls and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, think of like indoor soccer, but it's not actually indoors. You're outdoors, but you're inside.
It's like a hockey rink.
Hockey rink, you got carpet, yeah.
Right.
So anyways, we're playing this league, and I played with a bunch of Bosnians, like I said, and there was this one guy out there, and I mean, these Bosnians are crazy, man. This guy was like, yeah, man, if you don't get a yellow card, you're not trying.
What?
It was like, basically he was saying like, yeah, you're not trying hard enough. You don't get a yellow card. Like, you don't care. I was just like, man. So that's like, whenever I think of Bosnia, I see the national team, I think of those guys and I'm like, man, those guys it was good times, but it was just like, these guys are.
It's like a little too hardcore for like,
exactly.
Hockey rink, carpet, indoor. Yeah, right. Hey, man, you know what, though? Respect, man. Maybe that's why they're making it into League A. Maybe everyone's out there to get yellow cards trying hard,
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if you've ever played in one of those leagues, but they have what they call a blue card. And I believe if you got the blue card, you had to go sit out for 2 minutes.
What?
Like a penalty. Yeah. There were a lot of parallels to hockey in this league. Like, yeah, you go out.
That's such a freaking American thing to do. How are you gonna put fucking penalty? Oh god, that makes me sad, man. That just hurt my heart.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bring you down.
No, it's all right. Bosnia and Herzegovina gonna keep me flying high, man.
There you go.
So yeah. UEFA Nations League, look, love it, hate it. A lot of people hate the international breaks just in general because they love their club football, and I can't disagree with that to a point. But look, they're gonna have international breaks either way, so might as well make it interesting. The UEFA Nations League is pretty fun. They got top teams playing against other top teams in the world, so yeah, good times.
Yep, good times.
Good times.
Probably here to stay, people, because if it generates buckaroos, then it's going to stick around, because that's what we're in the business of doing, right? Making money.
Yeah, the dollar talks, man. Dollar talks. So very good. We're looking forward to this weekend, and we're looking forward to being able to review these matches and look forward to Matchday 14 and also the second leg in the MLS next time. And Eric, do you got anything you want to add?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, man, it feels like forever. Like these international breaks come around, and like, I feel like it's been forever since club football's been around, but it's only been what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean that is kind of forever in a way.
Yeah, I just can't believe it. Like it's like if we went longer, people would start rioting or something.
Yeah, man. But hey, look, it's coming back this weekend, so pretty exciting. I definitely am pretty pumped that there's a lot of exciting games this weekend, including the MLS playoffs. So looking forward to it. You know what? As always, enjoy the games and don't hate.
Don't hate.